Her Excellency Jain Marriott, High Commissioner of UK in Pakistan, was supposed to talk to us online yesterday after lunch. And those of you who were here saw that there was a technical glitch and we couldn't quite hear her. Although she could hear us, but we couldn't hear her.
Something spectacular.
So we tried for a while and then we sort of put it off to today. So we have a recorded address from Jain Marriott, which we're going to play right now. And I'm requesting all of you to please settle down. Soon after this address, we'll begin the next panel discussion. So sound desk, let's play the address of Her Excellency Jain Marriott.
Hi, my name's Jain Marriott and I'm the UK High Commissioner. I'm very sorry that I can't be there with you in Karachi, and I'm also sorry that the IT gremlins got the better of us before your lunch session. Now, I'm here today to talk about sustainability and climate change, because climate change is not just a big picture issue, it is the big picture issue. It is existential for us as individuals and also as companies, self-evidently. But each and every one of us, whether as business leaders or as individuals, has a key role to play. I want to focus a little bit on solutions, of course, but the first thing is that we all need to becoming climate literate, by which I mean that, understanding how climate affects us, how it impacts our businesses, but also what we can do about it, what those solutions are. I'm always amused when I sort of hear the latest about Silicon Valley preppers preparing for doomsday scenarios and buying up nuclear bunkers. That's fine, they're welcome to do that. But I look out of the window today at a green Islamabad and I think this is the world that we need to save. I don't want to be the hero or heroine in my own post-apocalyptic climate adventure, not least because, of course, with 6 billion people, we can't all be the farmer. But I want to take us back to science. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, or the IPCC, is a UN body that provides regular assessments of the scientific basis of climate change. And its 2023 report highlights that Pakistan, as we know, is the 8th most climate vulnerable country. This is not Pakistan's fault, but it is the 32nd least prepared country, and that is something that Pakistan can do something about. And Pakistan has been an active participant in COP, Conference on Parties, the annual climate change conference that this year is starting in Dubai at the end of the month. And it's where governments and engaged parties across a wide spectrum come to discuss new steps and crucially enforce what we should have done already. The UK's got 5 priorities around this, and the first one is around keeping the 1.5 degrees Celsius commitment alive. I don't know about you, but 30 years ago when I first heard about climate change and that the planet would be 1, 2, maybe 3 degrees warmer, I didn't really understand what that meant as a teenager in the north of England. I thought it being a little bit warmer would be quite a nice thing, although I didn't like the idea of polar caps, ice caps melting. But of course, what we know now is that even a 1 degree, never mind a 1.5, 2, 3 degrees Celsius increase in the temperature brings about extreme weather events. It disrupts everything that we think we know, whether we're talking about harvests or hurricanes. The sort of floods that we've seen in Pakistan are meant to be once in a generation. We had them in 2010, we had them again in 2022, we had other floods in 2023. So these extreme weather events are becoming more and more frequent. And COP28 comes at a crucial moment involving the first ever global stocktake of progress against the Paris Agreement. And it was Paris 7 years ago that had this headline goal of trying to pursue the global temperature increase to be no more than 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels. And the global stocktake is this vehicle for bringing us together, setting out clear global targets in key sectors to drive progress, and to cut global emissions by 60% by 2035 compared to 2019 levels. The second thing the UK is very much focused on is on phasing out fossil fuels and an energy transition to a clean, green energy transition. I think the UK has got a good story to share here. Yes, we will remain a net importer of oil and gas for now, but the carbon emissions of that extracted gas will be less than imported LNG, and 55% total energy generation now comes from low carbon sources. We will also phase out the use of coal by 2024, which is a year earlier than planned. Nearly 50% of our electricity in the first quarter of this year came from renewables, and that's what we want to help happen globally. So we want to help drive that clean energy transition globally. And this year, so far, a record $1.8 trillion has been invested in the clean energy transition. And it's also shown that green is good, as Kermit the Frog once memorably said. A low carbon transition can be an engine for investment, for growth, for jobs and exports as industries transform. So my plea today is, yes, do the right thing, think about the planet for altruistic reasons, but you can also make a profit at the same time, because ultimately that is how we are going to drive this change and driving it in a clean, green, transformational way. And blue as well. Blue is the new green, and looking at the oceans is increasingly a focus of the work at COP26. The third priority is around climate financing, which I think is the closest thing to a climate buzz phrase that we've got right now, because we need trillions to accelerate that clean energy transition. And UK wants to see the delivery of that mobilisation of the $100 billion a year that has been promised for this. And UK international climate finance so far has supported about 60 million people globally with improved access to clean energy. And it's also an issue that really matters to Pakistan, because the World Bank's assessed that it will take about $348 billion or 100 trillion rupees to adapt Pakistan to the climate challenges here and transition to a low carbon economy. Here in Islamabad next Monday, I'll be co-chairing an event with the Climate Minister, exploring the findings of a recent study on how we, the development partners, the private and other partners, can help identify ways to bridge that funding. We're also developing a programme called the Climate Investment Fund for Pakistan, or CIFPAC, where the UK is going to try and put in seed money to try and crowd in private climate finance supported by targeted technical assistance. And will aim to deepen Pakistan's capital markets by developing innovative green financing instruments and supporting the generation of clean energy. So I'm very excited that that will be coming online soon. The second climate buzz phrase, brief tangent, but I'm quite passionate about this, carbon credits, carbon markets have huge potential. This phrase has actually been around since the Kyoto Protocol in 1992. And inherently, they sound like a good thing. They can unlock economic potential of preserving and defending our environment to the benefit of local communities. And this has happened in many places. But a word of caution, I've also seen the people at the top of the food chain get $1 million and the communities at the bottom get $10,000. I've seen greenwashing happen in countries across the world. So I would beg you, if you are looking at carbon credits for your business, please do so responsibly and make sure that it gets to the local community and you are doing this for the right reasons. If there's one bit of green financing we can do for the right reasons, please let it be carbon markets. Now, the fourth UK priority is about building resilience to future and current climate impacts, which is, of course, particularly relevant to Pakistan, given the floods today. And in October, I was in Gilgit-Baltistan to launch a 5-year climate resilience programme around building resilience and addressing vulnerabilities to emergencies, worth about 35 billion rupees over the next couple of years to help Pakistan's poorest communities protect themselves from climate change. Because for Pakistan, responding to climate challenges requires both adaptation actions and mitigation measures delivered together. So you've got to adapt and you've got to mitigate. And increasing demands from population growth, urbanisation and rising consumption is placing huge unsustainable pressure on water, energy, food and land resources in Pakistan and across the world. And finally, the fifth priority of the UK is about progress towards protecting, restoring and sustainably managing nature, which is crucial to delivering on net zero and building resilience. The UK has got one of the most ambitious 2030 targets, committed to reducing economy-wide greenhouse gas emissions by 68% compared to 1990 levels, reduction of green gas reductions of all G7 countries between 20 and 2021. And crucially, 115 countries, including the UK, including Pakistan, have signed up to the 30 by 30 initiative, which is for governments to designate 30% of their land and ocean area as protected areas by 2030. Both of us are around the 20% mark at the moment, so we're on target, but we've still got some way to go and cannot be complacent. The UK is also very much focused in Pakistan on water, and we have a water resource accountability programme, which is aiming to strengthen the governance of water at national and provincial levels particularly in the context of climate change. And there are various ways in which we're doing that, but I'm conscious of time, so I won't go into too much detail on that. So the whole of our development effort in the UK, for Pakistan, is swinging behind climate as a cross-cutting priority issue. So when my team comes to talk to me about health, I ask them about the climate angles. When they come to talk to me about education, again, what are the climate angles? And so we're weaving climate into all of the other aspects of what we do here, including, as I say, education and health. So we need to develop new ways of dealing with this. And one of the things I want to look at is looking at that cultural, gender, economic lens, because Pakistan faces a significant gender gap that is hurting it in multiple ways, including on climate. Only 23% of women are in the labour force, 60% of working age women are not in employment, education or training. And this disparity is exacerbated by frequent climate shocks, access to schooling and health services, which impact disproportionately on women. We're proud of our gender empowerment work that we do here in Pakistan, but also our more recent pragmatic programming through Awaz and our support for family planning and for female entrepreneurs. Secondly, with the Ministry of Health, we're looking to develop and roll out a national system to strengthen and adapt health systems early in a climate crisis response. In Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, we're conducting a climate and health vulnerability assessment that will help inform community-level responses to climate change shocks. And thirdly, the education lens. The 2022 floods has had a massive impact on education. 3.5 million children, young people, had their education disrupted. 1 million of those are at risk of dropping out permanently, disproportionately affecting girls again. And through our programmes, we've got about 85,000 children back into school, which is the top priority for the UK. We're also looking at how we harness technology. So we have trialled and we are now a warning fire system, detection system here in the Margalla Hills, but also in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. And last night the team was showing me that the sensors they've got, which can spot a forest fire 25, 30 kilometres away, that sounds an alarm that enables fire response to happen and enables communities to be aware that something is coming and to protect themselves and their livelihoods. I was also very excited when I was in Kenya, where we used UK satellite technology to be able to detect disruptions in where trees were coming down, for example. We could spot that there was logging activity, deforestation that was illegal, charcoal burning ovens, and send in the rangers very quickly to be able to stop it before it became too much of a problem. So just in conclusion, the UK, as I hope you can tell, it takes climate change and the solutions extremely seriously. I think the business world has a great opportunity to contribute to this. And I know I need to wrap up, but please, as you are thinking about your business plans, keep thinking green, keep thinking sustainable, and the UK is with Pakistan working together on this.